Most parents worry about monsters under the bed. They worry about the dark. They worry about strangers. But what do you do when the monster isn't under the bed? What do you do when the monster is a memory, buried inside your own 4-year-old son's mind? It started on a Tuesday. My son, Leo, was drawing at the kitchen table. He was pressing the crayon so hard onto the paper that it snapped. When I asked him what he was drawing, he didn't look up. He just whispered with a voice that sounded like gravel, like an old man's voice. "This is where he hid me, Mommy. The dirt tastes like copper." We thought it was a phase. We thought it was a nightmare. But then, he gave us the map, and when we followed it, we found out that monsters are real. And sometimes they get away with it for 30 years. Before the drawings, there were the screams. Leo was a happy baby. He slept through the night from the time he was 3 months old. But the week he turned 4, everything changed. It was precisely 3:15 a.m. I remember looking at the digital clock by my bedside, the red numbers burning into my eyes. A scream echoed through the hallway. It wasn't a cry for attention. It was a scream of pure, primal agony. I rushed into his room. Leo wasn't in his bed. He was on the floor, curled into a tight ball, clawing at his neck. His fingernails were leaving red marks on his skin. I tried to hold him, to wake him up. "Leo, it's okay. Mommy is here," I said. But he pushed me away with a strength a 4-year-old shouldn't have. He looked right through me. His eyes were wide open, pupils dilated, staring at something in the corner of the room that I couldn't see. "He's burning the rope," he yelled. "The rope is too tight." The next morning, he remembered nothing. He ate his cereal, watched cartoons, and played with his toys. But the nights got worse. Every single night, at 3:15 a.m., we went to our pediatrician, Dr. Evans. He checked Leo's throat, his ears, his reflexes. He told us it was classic night terrors. He said, "The brain is developing rapidly at this age. It misfires during sleep cycles. Ignore it, and it will go away." Ignore it? How could a mother ignore her son screaming about ropes and burning? It didn't go away. It evolved. 2 months later, Leo stopped screaming and started talking. But he wasn't talking to us. He was talking to invisible people. One afternoon, while I was folding laundry, he walked in and asked, "Mommy, when is Sarah coming to pick me up?" I froze. We didn't know anyone named Sarah. "Who is Sarah, honey?" I asked. He looked annoyed, like I was being forgetful. "My big sister. She has the yellow dress. She promised to fix my bike chain." That was the breaking point. I took him to a child psychologist, Dr. Aris. I needed someone to tell me my son wasn't crazy. Dr. Aris played with Leo for an hour. She let him draw, let him talk. When she came out to the waiting room, her face was pale. She wasn't holding a prescription pad. She was holding a drawing. "Mrs. Thompson," she said quietly, "children create imaginary friends, yes, but they usually create friends who are heroes or magical creatures. Leo isn't imagining a friend. He is remembering a life." She showed me the drawing. It was a house, not our apartment. A white farmhouse with a distinct porch and a blue truck parked in front. Beneath it, Leo had written a name, not Leo. He wrote Thomas. Dr. Aris looked me in the eye. "You need to listen to him. He thinks he is Thomas, and Thomas is in pain." I became obsessed. I couldn't sleep. While Leo was at preschool, I went to the Central Library. I didn't search the internet. Some of these records were too old for Google. I went to the microfiche archives. I scrolled through thousands of scanned newspapers from the 80s and 90s. I searched for keywords Leo had given me over breakfast. White House, blue truck, Sarah, Thomas. It felt like searching for a needle in a haystack. On the third day, I found it. The date was October 14th, 1994. The headline read, 7-year-old Thomas Miller missing. I zoomed in on the photo. I stopped breathing. The boy, Thomas, had the same gap in his front teeth as Leo. I read the article. Thomas lived on a farm in Oak Creek. He had an older sister named Sarah. And on the day he vanished, he was riding his red bicycle. The police report said the main suspect was a local drifter, but they never found enough evidence. They never found the body. The case went cold for 30 years. I had to know. I printed the article and put Leo in the car. I told him we were going on an adventure. We drove 2 hours north to Oak Creek. As we entered the town, Leo's demeanor changed. He stopped playing with his tablet. He looked out the window and started giving directions. "Turn left here, Mommy. By the big tree." I followed his instructions. We turned onto a gravel road, and there it was. The white farmhouse from his drawing. It was abandoned now, paint peeling, windows broken. But it was the same house. Leo didn't want to go inside. He pointed past the house, towards the dense woods at the edge of the property. "I didn't make it home," he whispered. "The bad man stopped me there." We walked into the woods. The air was heavy. Leo walked with a strange confidence, like a soldier marching to battle. He led me through thick brush, thorns scratching our legs. After 20 minutes, we reached a clearing with a large moss-covered rock. Leo stopped. He fell to his knees and started digging at the dirt with his bare hands. "My bike is here," he cried, "and I am underneath it." I called the sheriff. When they arrived, they were skeptical. A crazy woman and her kid pointing at a rock? But the sheriff saw the look in Leo's eyes. He ordered his men to dig. First, they found the rusted metal handle of a red bicycle. Then, they found the remains. Thomas Miller had been found. The discovery of the bike led forensics to new DNA evidence preserved in the soil. It matched a man who still lived in that town, a man with a snake tattoo on his arm, just like Leo had described weeks ago. He was arrested the next morning. He confessed to everything. After the funeral for Thomas Miller, something incredible happened. Leo woke up the next morning and asked for pancakes. He looked rested. The dark circles under his eyes were gone. I asked him, "How is Thomas?" Leo looked at me, confused. "Who is Thomas, Mommy?" He had forgotten everything. The memories, the pain, the map. It was all gone. It was as if Thomas just needed someone to find him, so he could finally let go. We tell ourselves that death is the end. But maybe, for some souls, it's just a pause. If you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button and subscribe to Childhood's Echo. And tell me in the comments, do you believe we live more than once? Until next time, listen to the whispers. They might be telling you the truth,